Well, hello everybody. I'm down in my business office of my apartment complex right now, which I find when I pull myself away from my apartment to write, I feel better. I feel more focused. So it's the quiet, I think, and non-distractions, the things that can happen at home if I easily get distracted. So, anyways, it's just me. So, I hope everybody's had a wonderful year. I've got some notes I'd like to go over with for the 2025 going into 2026, and I hope these are beneficial. Obviously, it's the final day of the year, and I hope for some of you have taken some of my previous video casts to heart. With my current free time, I'm seeing if I can launch something honest, heartfelt that can help others, especially men coming out of a separation or divorce and feeling a little bit lost, obviously. I've been hearing some nice feedback locally now. I just hope I can get it noticed on a larger scale online. If nothing else, it's therapeutic for myself. So thank you to those locally who have mentioned liking some of my segments. Thank you. I know it's a work in progress, and I hope it can grow to be much better. Even had the suggestion to have a guest speaker on it. That day will come, I'm sure, I hope. New Year's Eve options that I've got coming. I don't know about you, but I've got actually 3 things in my calendar I can actually do. One I already booked and paid for in advance, which is again from Rick, putting on his Ricky Reels. If you haven't checked him out online locally in the Raleigh area, puts on some of the best Latin dancing parties out there and social dancing. He's got 2 Latin dance events. He's got 1 Latin dance event downtown off Glenwood tonight. It's actually at a studio. So that's kind of cool, a little different. So I'll definitely be going to that on the early part, but I might migrate to another one that's also off Glenwood downtown Raleigh. That's I think Kuya cocktail bar or something like that with 2 levels. It sounds kind of cool. So it'd be nice to be able to mix it up a little bit. And of course, I love masquerade parties. I've only been to 1 so far, but there's another one on New Year's Eve, so at a different place. So I was like, of course there is, so can't be in 3 places at the same time, unfortunately. So that's not going to probably happen, unfortunately. And I was invited to go to some other one too by some other friends, but not going to happen. But it's good to have options, right? I'd like to thank 2025 I met a lot of new friends. Mostly from Latin dancing, but also some from my work and things like that. But thank you to all those who know me, and I hope you get to know me more. It's helped just getting myself out there, and I wouldn't have made these friends if I hadn't gotten myself out there, so that's good. Looking back, and I think I've mentioned this in some of my other podcasts, but yeah, I did a lot of traveling, Japan, Austria, Italy, Switzerland, all on the Alps tour by a motorcycle, and then a cruise in October on the Valiant Lady, and it's a Virgin cruise ship going solo. So that was all good. I did several concerts, which was awesome. Started going to comedy clubs. Then, of course, knocked out other things like tennis to get more physically active again, as well as Latin dancing. So all for better mental health as well as physical health. So all good stuff. And so looking forward to 2026, basically, with hopefully more trips, even though I worry that if I do get a new job, I won't be able as easily to go on a trip in a timely manner. So I've actually booked out 2 trips now before the second week of February. I've got one at the end of January, one in the first week of February. So I'm looking forward to those. That one is one I'd already canceled, and then I called my special travel agent connection, Claire, to see if I could get back on it, and she was able to get me back on it, which is awesome. That's the one that's basically, it's from like Bahrain to Abu Dhabi to Doha. So it just sounded so different. I just love the idea of it, and it's a hell of a deal in this touring package with her group. So looking forward to that a lot. So it should be quite interesting seeing those super rich, futuristic cities, but at the same time, the cruise, stopping on an island, potentially doing a camel excursion. So very much looking forward to that. So, but obviously 2025 coming out of being separated in 24, focused into 26 now, is basically continuing to be make me a better person, so, and we should always focus on ourselves, how can we make ourselves better? So staying focused on myself, because if you focus on yourself more, that's more critical than anything else, because it's hard to basically broadcast to people how important it is if you're feeling good about yourself. If you're happier with yourself, you'll be noticed by others. People are attracted to positive people who love life, period. I used to be called Smiley on and off for decades in the business. And some people think I was on drugs or something because I was always smiling and stuff. But and then over the last probably almost a decade, because of marriage challenges and financial challenges and stress and things like that, I wasn't quite the full me anymore at that point. So it's nice to slowly but surely feel like that part of me is coming back. So I hope to get it all back. But it's not easy, it's not fast, but it's happening. So slowly but surely. But I wanted to give some examples. Like, I'm a firm believer in the energy, as some would say, aura that you put out by yourself or even by a location. Example, my last place of business is a great example. When I came, it had a very blah, cold, no energy type of feel to the place. And I came from both the people working there and the place itself, just the colors, no images, just everything about it, the music, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what I was able to convert that slowly but surely by getting the place more colorful, more energy coming out of it. I brand coded each and colored each area for each brand. We had music. We did announcements for people that are getting new vehicles, and we made it a party. We made it fun. The energy radiated, and I had compliments all the way from the spouse of the owner of the whole company to customers on a daily basis, and to even other employees, just who enjoyed working in that field. And people would feel that energy and come in and go, wow, all your employees are so happy or having fun or, happy to be there. And then the customers are happy to be there and love the energy and the excitement that was going on. So it didn't happen overnight, but it really changed the aura of that place. So it was a great example. Now, the same thing needs to happen from a person. If you don't radiate positive energy, then why would anyone want to hang out with you? Negativity just brings you down. Like I used to say, being higher management, if you got somebody who is just constantly negative, you gotta cut the cord, and you got to get them out of there, or her out of there, just because they'll bring more of them down with them. Just that negativity just seeps out of them and into other people. And it doesn't mean they're just a bad person. It just means that whatever is bugging them, whatever their problems are, they're taking down your team, and that's not good. So again, aura, energy is affected, and it can affect everybody, so that's not good. Now, I'm not saying you have to have some huge extroverted type attitude about you, like some explosive personality. That's not me either. But I am saying you need to feel good about yourself. Because if you feel good about yourself, your confidence level moves up the ladder, which radiates from within. Okay, so example, when I'm in my element, which is when I'm in the power sports world, I radiate energy, confidence, and excitement. It just pours out of me, and anybody that talks to me just goes like, wow. But now it's completely different compared to like when I'm now in my new Latin dance environment, I've had some gals, I can tell they're actually kind of annoyed at me a little bit. Like, how come you're not dancing more? Or, you seem a little down, or, and I've even felt a little moody at times in that world. But it all comes down to a confidence thing, basically. I've been very, very challenged by salsa dancing. The bachata, I'm way more comfortable with. I find much easier. There's a lot more to learn there too, but I'm confident on just banging it out. Even merengue, I found it very easy and fun to do, and I feel like I'd love to learn more. But salsa, it's such a mixture of arm movements, body movements, leg positioning, leg steps. it's a lot more to think about. It's a lot more complex basically behind it. And I think I'm overthinking it. So, but anyways, it gets in my head and it drives my confidence down. So now the nice thing is I've met, there's a lot of ladies that now know me who seek me out when it's a bachata song that comes up. Which is nice of them, and I appreciate that because they know, oh yeah, he'd be fun to dance the bachata, and that's what he likes doing. But they also know not to seek me out when I'm for salsa, so that's kind of frustrating too. But so how do I get better at salsa if I don't dance salsa? You know, so a lot of people say, get out there more. You're gonna, and of course I can ask, you know, but in a lead type dance where the male is the lead, it's much more difficult for the lead if he doesn't feel confident and know what he's doing to just go out there and do it because the lady is expecting him to lead all the moves, and if you're not doing the moves right, they get confused and annoyed themselves, you know. Some are more understanding than others, but I've had some that are pretty sharp. So anyways, it's been 11 months of that, and it's stressing me out. And even though I did that, which I think I posted, my showcase from my dance studio, which was a full salsa thing, that was 27 different moves in 1 minute and 30 seconds. That took me, though, like 6 freaking months to bury myself, and I was doing 2 and 3 classes a week for like the last month because I was so worried there was no way I was going to remember all this, and I kept screwing it up, effing it up. So anyways, so yeah, it's all up here, and I just need to get past that, but I will. Someday I just feel like it's going to click, and you're going to get it, no problem, right? But I still feel like I have 2 left feet at times, and when women expect that when dancing, that's something I feel like I'm floundering around. So anyways, thank you to those Latin dance acquaintances that did know where I'm comfortable with, and please know it's not you, it's me if I'm not out there dancing with you on salsa, which sounds like a breakup excuse, right? But anyways, thank you. Now back to the aura thing. Energy at 188, it can make or break you. It's as they say, for many people, a decision is made about you in the first 60 seconds upon meeting you. Okay, so if you're broadcasting negative energy, beware. It's just like how you hold your arms. Like you can see right now, I have a tendency to cross my arms a lot when I'm talking. That's what I'm comfortable with. But all the experts who say if you want to be better with socialization, say you should never do that. You should have your arms down. It's open, you know, type of thing. So I have to think about that a lot of times, you know. And I've even had, I remember one club place that there was a gal, she annoyed the hell out of me. But I used to stand because it's a place where, there only the guys ask the girls to dance, and there's no seats, so you have to stand. So then, like, where do your arms go? You're just kind of hanging, flopping around. So a lot of times I start doing this again. And every time she walked by, when I had my arms out, she's like, "You look like you're holding up a statue. You know, you look so serious." Well, yeah, she annoyed me, but she was basically observing and pointing something out that was a negative about me. So yeah, but it made me more conscious about it now. So holding your arms, facial expressions too, of course. You know. You got to be really careful with how your facial expressions are perceived. It's like my ex, when I first met her and introduced her to my friends 30 plus years ago, several of my friends thought, was she not nice? She cold, standoffish, but she was just an introvert, and she didn't know at that time she wasn't as good about communicating, coming out and talking to people, you know. Compared to most of my friends were very extroverted, and I was probably the quietest of my group, but way more than my ex was at the time. So it's all a matter, like I said, perception. And I know if you're an introvert, it's a challenging more than an extrovert. I get it, you know, but it's something you got to focus on. Another example is a manager who worked under me a decade ago. He was a great sales floor manager. But I noticed when he went out to lean over and listen in on a sales conversation between a salesperson and a customer, that he had an expression on his face that almost looked like, you know, like, oh, geez, you know, this guy's so full of it, you know, type of act. I know he didn't mean that, but that's the expression he came across. Or he actually looked kind of mean at times. So then by the time he finally did start to get introduced to the customer and talk, the customer had already seen that expression several times, kind of like, who the hell is this guy? So that was a detriment to him, and I had to bring it up to him several times. And he also had the tendency to walk around as a manager looking down and not at the people. So people then instantly think, oh, he's not a very sociable and very nice person, which isn't the case. So he just needed to be aware of his tendencies. We all have them. We all have our own personal tendencies that are, can be perceived wrong. So think about that as you're going into your new year as well. Like I said, perception is key. What was my notes here? As a single guy at my age now, I find myself pushing myself to come out of my shell at times. I was never a really big extrovert, but I was still comfortable starting a conversation, but not as much. It's as if I have mentioned in the past, my mojo got hit pretty hard those last, 7, 8 years of my marriage, and then the separation and pulled apart from everything. It was a big hit. So it's taking me some time to get that back. And I see some people on dating sites and stuff, especially women, posting that it's 3, 5, 7 years of coming out of it. Now I hope I don't think I take that long. I don't think I will, because I'm a stronger personality than that. But it is taking me longer than I expected. I thought within a few months I can get out there and be 100% again. Not even close. So be realistic with yourself and acceptance of yourself, and just realize, you're going to have challenges as you come out of this. Now being on my own again for so many years, and actually going through all that 2024 year that I've previously mentioned, of a bunch of funerals and stuff, which didn't help either. So all that added to my mojo kind of getting squished a little bit. So as you go on in the new year, focus on bettering yourself mentally and physically, getting out more. Helping others always makes one feel good. Go on that trip you always wanted to do. Go listen to that band or entertainer you like live. Get out and do something physical, okay? Like a sport, or just do some hiking, or even a greenway walk, whatever works. One of my favorites, of course, is getting out and dancing. Just makes you feel good, helps your mental health and your energy levels, okay? Whatever works for you. Just give yourself those obtainable goals moving you forward, okay? And if for some reason you do have something that hits you, that pushes you a step back, that's okay. It happens to all of us. That's life, okay? We can always go forward once again, okay? Setbacks happen, and you got to be adaptable for change, okay? I've gone through a tremendous amount of change in the last, year and a half, and more to come with the job change, potentially a location change. So there's a lot. And I've got to adjust and adapt to that, and it's not easy sometimes. Sometimes it hits you hard. Sometimes you're like, oh, it's exciting. Okay, it's fun for me because this is the first time in my life that I can really go anywhere. So I'm trying to be choosy of where I want to go and who I go with, of course. So we'll see what life will bring. I've had many things knock me back over the years, but I kept pushing forward, even when some wondered how I could, okay? As well as those didn't think I could achieve something as I set out to do, and I did it. So that made me feel even better, Kind of like, yeah, I told you so. Know your weaknesses. Mine has always been pure focus. I am a great multitasker, okay? Well, that means that's because my ADHD basically kicks in. I can multitask working on multiple things, but it's much harder for me to focus on one thing, okay? It's like my writing a lot of times, and it takes me a lot longer because I'll start and then I get distracted away from it. And I need to focus 110% to really achieve what I want to do in that kind of stuff. So I'm always fighting that. Luckily, I always have enough ambition to achieve and prove myself to the next level. So here's the 2026 being the best year for us all. I have a good feeling about it. Now, to get my focus and energy ready to receive what is yet to come is key. Are you ready to basically receive that and create yourself some real obtainable goals that you can reach and make yourself feel good about. Not pie in the sky goals, I've mentioned that before, but real goals you can achieve in a short time period. I don't care if it's a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, but don't put them out 6 months, 9 months, a year, because you need to have, instead of doing a big goal that you're going to be done by October, you want little goal that you can be done by February maybe, and then push that next level up to the next goal by April, then the next goal by June, next goal by August. So then when October rolls around, not only have you reached that goal you would have set for yourself in October, you've exceeded it. So that's cool, and that's good. So anyways, real goals. So let's do this, shall we? And Happy New Year, and here's the 2026. God, it makes me sound old. Bye.